What's up, fuckers? What's Redpill Boy coming at you on the Gameplay Podcast, episode, I believe, 10 of Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Fucking Past. Let's be real, folks. Wisecracking this might be, we all know some niggas have been drawing fucking, smut between the elf-eared green cloth boy and the princess since Zelda 2. Ever since Breath of the Wild came up, that shit skyrocketed.
I've never played Zelda, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a little inside joke for Zelda fans. More of a cringe humor thing. Cringe and blue humor, more so than anything, but still relevant to the game. I'm here with, what do you want me to call you?
Only Osmo.
Osmo.
That's my, I prefer to use my real name. That's my quote internet alias, as people call it.
Roger Wilco.
What are we going to talk about with this game?
Let's go over your subjects in particular.
Okay, so basically, for my blog, I have different documents open, working on it. The difficult part is sort of like getting ideas. Like, for instance, I have a one on that I'm going to go over. Sort of I have 3 pages open. Both are going. All 3 are sort of critiquing a type of ethics that I sort of see flowing around the libertarian online community. The first 2 are a critique. The first one first is a critique of fractal morality. Basically, there's this YouTuber named Michael Moreno. He sort of became famous online for sort of exposing that his university is sort of very leftist, and that the debate community there is very openly sort of in the debating thing for truth, but they're openly in there to fuck, what's the word again? Basically, they're pushing Marxism. Basically, they're openly not out for truth. They openly want to spread specific ideas, and even the fucking professor is open about that shit. But basically, to get to the point, Moreno has a type of ethics he sort of has in a video called Morality as a System of Logic, and basically his idea is that, well, since all action is sort of like it's like, he describes action as kind of like a fractal, if you will, and then at the very center of that fractal, where all the other sort of configurations are built on, he's talking about, well, if our chain is about as strong as its strongest link, or is that what he was saying? But basically he says that, well, if we just put truth itself in the center, then our ethics will be undeniable, I guess you could say that. But the problem is that truth isn't exactly something you can derive actions from. This is Hume's famous guillotine, where you can't derive a ought statement from an is statement.
And you cannot do vice versa either.
Yeah. And another problem I see with it is the inherent flaw of trying to devise a system of ethics from fractals, because, well, as he describes it in the video, he's basically talking about how you can derive pretty much infinite actions from other actions and blah blah blah, but basically morality by its very nature requires good actions and bad actions. So if he's trying to derive ought from something inherently infinite, then that means that every possible action within that infinity would encompass both good things and bad things. So in order for an ethical system to be coherent, it must have good things to do and bad things to do, but for that system, it pretty much just falls into the thing that, well, pretty much everything's acceptable if you're trying to base it on that, and like, good actions cannot be infinite, and vice versa. And another thing I have open is a, some of your viewers might be more familiar with this. It's a critique of first principles, basically, Shane Killian. Basically, he has this idea of, trying to derive property rights from, so-called first principles, which he, dubs as the consistency principle, or the principle of non-contradiction, and all that sort of things, and,
yeah.
I'm still sort of looking into that, but there's a couple things I see wrong with it. First off, that consistency is not a principle. Consistency is what you get when you are principled, so I think Killian is putting the cart before the horse. And also that he says that the principle of non-contradiction is the most fundamental part of logic, but I don't see that as the case. There's plenty of things that make up logic that nothing is more over than the other, such as the law of identity and stuff like that. And my third critique is one called A Critique of Natural Law, in the sort of Barthian, Thomist, Aristotelian sense of the word, where basically there's the basic gist of it is that, well, since humans do certain things and there are certain attributes that help us survive, blah blah blah, that there are certain things we can and should do. Again, Hume's law, and also that I do not believe that there are sort of intrinsic purposes for these types of things. I sort of take the I guess you could say I'm a type of, what's it called again? The Soren Kierkegaard and Friedrich Nietzsche. It starts with an X. Existentialist, yeah. But basically, they reject that there are innate purposes to things, which is not to be confused with nihilism. Just want to get that straight out of the way, that plenty of existentialists, and, well, in this case, I haven't actually read some quote-unquote existentialists. Soren Kierkegaard and Nietzsche are sort of classified as pre- or proto-existentialists, if you will. But basically, a lot of existentialists, like, what's that Camus person, Albert Camus, people like him, yeah, he was a fucking Marxist, bro, and a lot of the, people we would recognize as, existentialists are Marxists. It's pretty much the pre-existentialists who are very much anti-Marxist, if you will, and anti-nihilism, Kierkegaard and... Pardon?
Saint Palamas, I hope I said his name correctly. Saint Palamas, Gregory Palamas, one of the church fathers, founded Christianity. Consolidated early Christian. One of the church fathers when all of the first form of Christianity got consolidated under a single Roman church under Emperor Constantine, and that the Orthodox came from, but the Catholics are split off from. Technically, and this is just looking at, but anyway, so I'm going to disagree. I'm just being technical. I'm being technical and factual here, but anyway.
Wait.
But
what does Christianity have to do with existentialism?
Saint Palamas, I hope I said that correctly. When he talked about the energy's essence distinction in the theology of in metaphysics was proto-existentialistic.
But basically, I reject that objects have innate purposes. Like, for instance, to give two examples, let's say you have a screwdriver and a locked door that a stuck door that you're trying to pry open. Basically, if we're trying to use natural law, at least from my understanding of it, you ought not do that because that's not what the screwdriver was built for. And I'm like, well, that purpose is sort of like imposed on the object, if you will. There's nothing metaphysical about that screwdriver that necessarily means that you ought to screw screws. It's... You know what I mean?
I think.
Yeah. And another thing that I sort of notice a lot of the times with natural law theorists is that they sort of... Even the atheist ones like Ayn Rand, who I would consider a type of natural law theorist, since she was very heavily influenced by Aristotle. But basically they say that homosexuality is immoral and all that shit because, well, the penis and butts aren't supposed to make babies and all that shit. But basically I say, similar example with the fucking screwdriver in the door. If sticking the screwdriver in the wedge to get the door open and all that.
I'm trying not to smile, but your analogy.
Oh shit.
Sorry.
But basically, what I'm trying to get at is that things don't necessarily have a set purpose. Like, just because if I may be PG-13 on your podcast.
I'm rated XXX. It's just because my humor, but.
But basically if like a cock in the butt doesn't make babies, but it does other things like make people happy, I guess. Yeah, essentially that.
If yours is big enough, it can make enough girls scream.
Oh god.
Especially if it's above average. I'm giving you a clue, women.
Oh god.
What's your such a misogynist plan?
But basically, that's what I've been doing over on my blog.
I'm sorry. When you make up analogies like that, it's like the subject of eating ass. You can't talk about it in a mature way.
Yeah.
Oh god, the combos I've seen on that.
I've been trying to recently my mental activity around my blog has been direct, I guess you could say, not optimal. I ideas are not coming out of my head, and no matter how much I shake it. Like, for instance, that post on epistemological nihilism we were talking about a couple weeks ago, if I remember correctly, but basically I decided to bail on that because, well,
If you're
things
gonna
like
go down the
things that
nihilist route,
are,
epistemological nihilism is just self-contradictory.
yeah, I know, but basically I can't stretch, but no matter how much I tried, I couldn't stretch, epistemological nihilism is self-contradictory. I couldn't stretch that over, 30 to 60 paragraphs. Like, like, like one paragraph, or at the very most two should suffice with that, but I could not find a way to stretch that to a proper blog post length.
Oh man, yeah, that's a pain in the ass. It's hard. That's not a good, easy concept. Let's see, what was I
Yeah.
supposed to do now?
Which isn't to say that I believe in epistemological nihilism, on the contrary. Like, I came out of, like, a lot of your viewers might, or listeners might cringe at this, but basically, I used to be a part of the, new atheist movement, the whole skeptical, David Hume, Rene Descartes type of crowd. Even then, I had sort of things in my mind where I was thinking, like, no, there are things that you can know for certain. Like, even back then, when I was sort of, I called myself an avowed skeptic, even then, I understood that, yeah, there are some shit that you can know for certain. And after getting into sort of philosophy, I'm like, fuck that bullshit I was into back then. You can know everything, so to speak. Which isn't to say that my position has 100% changed. Like, for instance, I'm still an atheist, albeit I would call myself a Gnostic atheist as opposed to an agnostic atheist.
Oh, you call yourself a Gnostic atheist?
Yeah. I sort of, like, oddly enough, it was Thomas Aquinas who helped me go from agnostic to Gnostic. I have a lot of respect for Thomas Aquinas, and his sort of one of his arguments has, I would say, such a fatal flaw, but that flaw is sort of followed by a soundly packed argument that it pretty much, at least for me, proves that God is not real. I guess you could say that. But basically, it's one of his proofs for God, and basically, it's the idea that, well, if we understand cause and effect as something like actuality and potentiality, sort of like to give a not PG-13 analogy, my son has the potential to have 3 broken ribs, and that potential was actualized by me coming home and not finding that he took out the meat to thaw.
Okay.
But if we understand things like potentiality and actuality, we come to the concept of God, which is, as Thomas Aquinas puts it, or at least as Tom Woods puts it in his episode on God, that God would be something that is pure actuality. But and I sort of follow his argument right up until there when he says, therefore God exists and God is a being of pure actuality. I agree with the thing about God, about that the proper understanding of God would be something of pure actuality. It's that where I sort of say, no, that would be not logical, because a being that is of pure actuality cannot do anything, including creating the universe and all that shit. Like, in order to for instance, pick up my television remote and turn on the TV, that requires potentiality. In order to create something like a laptop or a monitor or a dildo, that requires potentiality. But if you're pure actuality, no potentiality exists within you to perform an action such as creating the universe. And since, well, look around you, the universe exists, therefore God does not exist, or at least if God exists, he is not the cause of the universe. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, well, his simplification of metaphysics is a problem anyway.
Minus?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I was.
Yeah, but long story short, skepticism, at the very least in very small doses, can be good. For instance, for all the bullshit that came out of Hume's mouth, I do think that his distinction between ought and is and all that, I think that is spot on. Everything else, for instance, his plain and simple rejection of cause and effect, and and his sort of like extreme skepticism, like, well, you don't know the sun's gonna rise tomorrow, and I'm like, all that shit is complete bullshit. That ethical thing, that can stay. Everything else, get out the fucking window. You know, like, anyway, I've exhausted my topics.
Alright.
Anything you wanted to talk about?
Give me a sec. Yes, actually, just give me a moment. Hit the blue berry in this room. Got it. I'm trying to redo this whole level 5, dungeon number 6, actually, of the Dark World. Technically. I'm just starting from the beginning and then back, and then just redoing all the steps, you know, until I get to where I got stuck at the last time. So I can, get to that point where I can just pass up, finish it, and just go straight to the boss to fight this time. I'll agree to disagree about that take on God, but that's due to a certain simplified metaphysics on Aquinas and the pure and all that stuff. So I'm gonna agree to disagree, but that's not my point of discussion today. My actual
And plus, if we were actually to get into this discussion, I would not be able to go to bed because we would be here for 5 fucking hours.
Right. So.
And plus, I wouldn't be much of a discussion considering, well, I'm not exactly the most well-read person in this field.
I'm getting more into it bit by bit, as day by day. I am personally, but that's what I'm, on my part. But it's gonna take a bit, but I'll get there eventually.
Alright.
Anyway, so I was going to tell you guys was, I wanted to talk about my first one. I wanted to get into certain things about crypto. I'm not an anti-crypto, but I'm not a hard crypto skeptic either, but I do see what certain crypto skeptics are talking about. Right? And I was going to address those different points. I just look at some of these as, so what? If you have a sound money system, they would be backed by the sound money system. What do you know? It's problem solved. The dollar will just go super volatility city and then be done, but there's a lot of other issues. So fundamentally speaking, you can finance some, but the problem is to try to do it in a way that you can't be tracked by the Fed. That's fucking... Don't get me started on that fucking rant. Oh, I am going to get started on it, technically. As I head down a screen, quickly turn around the room. It's hard now.
Hold on, can you turn on share screen?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying... Huh?
Can you turn on share screen? I want to see what's going on in the Zelda game.
Sure. Let's see if it'll, see if I don't lag. It shouldn't lag, hopefully. There we go. I'm reading my map and all that. Okay, it doesn't lag. Excellent. Okay, fuck. 4 torches, done that. Ow! Fucking hate those.
That looks like those fucking shulker things from Minecraft.
They're called BMOs, I think. They fucking hurt.
So what's the objective here?
I'm trying to go through all these processes again, so I can actually get to where I can. Excuse me. Get back to you know, to where I was stuck at and go from there. I'm trying to repeat everything I did because I never got out of this dungeon in episode 9.
Oh God.
As it will head through the locked door to the left. Okay.
Fucking hate when it. Sorry, just I've spent so much fucking time in like the meme community that every time I hear the word number 9, it makes me think of that fucking Big Smoke copy pasta.
God damn, the Big Orange has made a comeback. Marty Robbins, big iron on his hip.
Yeah.
I'm not. This ain't gonna get fucking This ain't gonna get fucking monetized anyway. So I'll just play it because fuck it.
Yeah. Earlier I was.
Actually, I'm gonna play Big Dick Marty.
Yeah, earlier I had like a song stuck in my head and it was really good. It was The Safety Dance by Men Without Hats. And like, you can dance if you want to, you can leave your friends behind, because if they don't dance and if you won't dance and they're no friends of mine, something like that. But basically, in the shower, I was singing to that. Then my mom came up and knocked on the door. And she was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm like, "I was singing." And she was like, "Okay," then left me alone.
To the town of our people rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make it slip.
Big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip.
It was early in the morning.
The shit post that they put for the thumbnail vid in the screen. He's basically, they blew his head up. They made the hat elongated to where it's really tall. And he's basically made where his dick shape turns into a fist pointing a gun forward.
Okay, I got,
Let's see, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck,
4
torches.
I see the fucking Hold on, is it that 1 hour version? I just looked it up on my phone.
I have a 1 hour version of that Tistic shit, yes.
Awesome. Lovely.
No, what you want to do is turn your earphones all the way up, right? Just turn them all the way up, and just rape your ear holes with shit. Here I go giving people bad ideas. Actually, the dumb ones, if they do it, good. Fuck them. Essentially. Okay, get the blocks out of the way. Access torches.
Helm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got this part now.
Yeah. The only sort of what's it called again? Legend of Zelda game I played. It was Breath of the Wild, and I only played like the first chapter of it while I was at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't you just do that part?
I fucked up.
Do you have to do it again?
I fucked up, yeah. Pisses me off. Oh my god, there was another May vid, parody of the Big Irons called "You Gonna Cry," where it's basically Marty Robbins goes, "Gonna cry, cry and piss your pants, maybe shit had to come." I said, "Why?" Fucking why? Oh Christ. But there's shit like that all over the place.
Yeah. I forget what it was initially, but basically I had this idea in my mind of basically a parody of Twisted Sister's Where They're Going to Take It. I forget what it was, but I think it had something to do with the wars. Like fucking...
Weeze robes. Fucking hate them. Somebody call an exorcist and get these fucking bastards out of here.
Yeah.
Criminy. Oh, wow.
Wait, didn't you say you had notes or something that we would talk about when I was done, or did you already exhaust that list too?
No, I didn't. What I was gonna do was, if I get the fucking fucking last boss done, I can do this. If I can get to that last boss, I can kill him. It's just getting to him. I never had trouble with this map. This is the first time I've ever had trouble with this dungeon in particular. It was always the 5th dungeon, the Ice Palace. Holy fuck, I'd be circling and loop-de-looping until like, my head was up my cock hole trying to get out of that dungeon. Insert head up dick hole for 5 minutes. I need to go to the hospital. My pee-pee hurts. Maybe you shouldn't shove your head up in it.
Oh, God.
Holy fuck! Are they just unlimited? What the fuck?
Looks like it.
Suck and fart out of my ass, you fucking wretches.
I've said this.
Wait a minute. I think I know what I gotta do now. Here we go. Woo! There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yee-hoo! Got it. Oh! Oh boy. I know, fuck. Ow! Fuck! You know, it's a good way to cringe somebody. Really dry a snatch up.
Oh god, what?
Just when you're talking to a girl, just say cummy wummies. Just say that. They'll either laugh or it'll dry the snatch up and you'll never get any. It's a guarantee. I promise it works every time. It's a great cunt repellent. I'm so funny, kill me. And I'm totally not sarcastic.
Yeah.
Ow. Oh, that'd be a fucking terrible parody if somebody did that. I know Cletus T. Judd made the parody of David Ball's song, "Thinking Problem." He made it. It's called "Stinking Problem."
Thinking problem?
Yes, I admit I got a stinking problem. Aquavelve just won't do. Cletus T. Judd, listen to it. Look him up. He's fucking retarded. But he's great. He's a lovably comedic kind of retarded, okay? So,
Like, Rocka Ali good? Like...
yeah, but imagine, dude, imagine a country artist that does the same shit.
Like Rucka?
Yeah, but a country music type instead of Aka.
Ah.
Fuck! I gotta go find that damn thing and open it up again.
Can I ask you a question?
Hit that crystal ball.
Between you, Rucka Ali, and Neocon Remover on Twitter, who would you say is funnier?
I really don't find myself that funny. People tell me I'm funny, but I'm having a hard time putting my head up my ass to see it. But, in all honesty, I think Neocon Remover is great. Funnier myself.
Between Neocon Remover and Rucka, who would you say is funnier?
I'm gonna say Neocon Remover is funnier. With the straight up jokes.
Apparently, Neocon Remover got suspended on Twitter again.
Oh man, Volnos was something else. That's all he would do on there is just piss him off.
Twitter?
When he did that logo, "Be patient, I have autism," and it had the K-pop synthwave background music, and his characters just dancing around. I'm like, could you be any more of an edge cunt? If it's just on the cunt part. No, I told a Zoe Quinn defender. I got my account. Yeah, I'm not suspended. I could get on it. I just choose to leave it.
Why do you choose to leave it?
Cause that was giving me. I thought it was so cringe. I thought I was getting gonorrhea because the cringe was so bad. It burned to piss. I thought I was getting gonorrhea from all that cringe. Holy shit.
I choose to soldier on. I choose to soldier on the cringe.
I mean, holy shit, son!
Yeah, and apparently, Neocon Remover is one of the mutuals now. he followed me, which is such an honor.
Right? I remember when I first got on twatter, I was followed by one of those comedians, a guy called himself the world's strongest redneck, and I got followed by the R&B and pop singer Peebo Bryson, whom I adore. I adore that man highly. That dude, I just appreciate the shit out of him, and I grew up with his work like I did James Ingram's. Motherfucker! That kind of pissed me off a little. Anyway. But yeah, that essentially was I felt quite humbled by that. That was quite I was like, wow, took time of the day to follow little old me kind of moment, you know? Okay, I'm not trying to do the charge this time. Yeah! Cane of Somaria. There we go. Go back to that little dark room. Oh, man. Remember though, but anyways, what I was going to mention about the cryptocurrencies thing. I think you could back them up by assets or back them up by bearer share monies or something like that. And do other things. Techno's banking ideas, concepts could be used, and cryptocurrencies could be made to be interchangeable with those. I think that would be an approach. But another thing to do would be which also would offset the technical problems 1 and 2. You know, the fucking digistonks basis. It's basically digistonks, and it's extremely volatile. That would fix those 2 problems. Oh fuck. Anyway. It would solve also issue 3 because it'd have more of a stability in investment and stuff. No, and that's because what you're doing is you're taking away from the fiat herkadirk shit. Okay, it's semi-fiat. Who gives a shit? I get it. It's called the petrodollar for a fucking reason. But still. They print the shit away, and then they try to keep it metastable, semi-stable, or whatever the fuck, by warmongering and controlling oil and not using their own reserves. Oh, and that's why they and monopolizing the control over the electric grid instead of it being a market, like it should be, which you know, motherfucker. Sorry, which would be. Fuck! Shit! But that which would be, you know, imagine, you know, an electric bill be fucking 1/10 of what it is now. Like if you had a nuclear...
Yeah, that would be pretty nice.
Yeah, imagine that. That is not impossible, but it requires a little bit of, bomb this. Fuck! I need that magic, you little piece of shit! Fuck you! Fuck you! Alright, fuck you, man! Alright. Fuck! Ow. Try to get pelted with fireballs. Fuck! I never sucked AIDS-infested dick at this dungeon before. This is a first. What do you know? Maybe the fucking, having too many dungeons in one episode's getting balanced out after all. Too many dungeons in one episode's getting balanced out, apparently. I don't have to worry about that. People could watch me suck. Gag on one on camera. Fuck!
So, let's...
I was continuing on. It would also technically be the beginning of solving technical issue 4 about cryptos, where I wrote about this. Essentially saying that since it's just digistunks, it's not really, it didn't give you anything you possibly want, you know. Fucking crimey.
You
Fuck
had
was that?
techno on the, what's it called again? The podcast yet?
The GPPC.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. This one.
Yeah. Banking is definitely something I should look into. I have like a very narrow understanding of.
I got some decent understanding about how the banking system currently works and whatnot. I mean, I think the books I got from Kiyosaki for a part of that, but I also understand that the tax law systems and stuff like that. You know, you have to actually know them well enough in order to play this, because the international upper 1%ers, they don't pay any taxes. No shit, Sherlock. You know why? They know fucking tax codes. They know the tax codes. And what happens when you know a tax code enough? You can do what Kiyosaki's been telling people. With little to no effort. Fuck, you can use that to you know, but then again, they'll track you, so that's kind of a hard thing to say. That's not set in stone, because... Yeah, because you can use it to invest into cryptos, but the cryptos, good luck having them, you know, transaction-wise, be not detected. It's a pain in the ass. It's gonna be the next one, but that's possible to fix. Woo-hoo! Getting ready, bitches. We're gonna rape the fuck out of that eyeball.
Yeah, basically my area of expertise and interest. Oh, is this the boss?
Yep, finally.
But basically, my area of expertise and interest is not really... My area of expertise is not really, the, fuck, what's it called again? My area of expertise is not in economics. I'm more interested in philosophy, if you will.
Fuck! Fuck! Fairy dusting me off. Quite nice. Thank you, dear.
Oh, you're redoing it.
Yeah, I survived. I suck my fucking cock, cocksucker.
Yay! Wow.
And magic too. Blue potions are great, but
you can't get in the...
No, I can't get in that slime section. No. Now I can. I should. It wouldn't be smart for me to. There you go. Watch that around me. As I was saying, it's not really a good currency or money until a few FDIC certified banks, and I'm including, say, building societies, cooperative banks, and shit like that, on local levels, grow some ovaries and testicles to test ovarian and testicular fortitude to try figuring out how they can bypass all the fucking banking regulations on a backdoor service. that can ship your goods and services back to you, anything you want through the system. And to make sure you can't be, but also have an honor system like a TOS, like a crime busting TOS. You can't do these particular things. If you agree to these terms, okay. If you don't, you get burned. You won't be able to finance anything else if you're suspected of this shit. It basically ostracize and burn anybody's and distribute the monetary gains or whatever to others that who do not fund criminality. Essentially, it'd have to be some kind of shit like that. Another thing is you can back it with something. Like I said, Techno talked about the banking with assets and then I had bearer share monies and commodity monies can be used to back cryptos, which, conceding to Menger is what I'm conceding to here. It's more of an opinion, set of ideas how to actually challenge the particular issues that Menger would see with it, while still consider, let people use it, not going hardball Schiff here, but still agreeing with Menger, because that's where Schiff gets his ideas from. Much to certain Fur Rant Soda's dismay.
Yeah, the rant sonas can be a real pain in the fucking ass, if I may be frank.
It's okay, you can be Anne Frankly about it. Ooh, that was dark. Are my jokes picking cotton yet? Was it terrible? No shit.
Yeah, economics is not really my main subject of interest and inquiry. For me, I'm more interested in sort of the more philosophical debates.
Right.
Yeah, and despite my my relentless critiques of other people's moral systems, I'm not a moral anti-realist. I remember I would get this critique back when I was in the new atheist stuff and shit, where people would be saying, "Oh, if you're X, Y, and Z, well, if you're like an existentialist or if you're an atheist, you can't have an objective moral system because then the world would be floating matter and nothing inherently moral, and blah blah blah." And I'm like, fuck that shit. Although I would sort of, where I would disagree with a lot of libertarians in regards to moral and ethical theories is that, as opposed to a lot of the more Aristotelian people you see walking around, I prefer to look at morals from like the more Immanuel Kant perspective, which isn't to say that morally I'm a Kantian. I'm not. I see a lot of problems with the categorical imperatives, such as I see some problems with trying to base human action on sort of universally applicable behavior, if you will. I do like his meta-ethics that he tries to talk about Hume's guillotine. He tries to get around that, and I was thinking of taking a similar route with Immanuel Kant, with like a similar route to as Immanuel Kant with ethics, except whereas he is trying to prove altruism, I'm trying to do the exact opposite, and I'm pretty much a full-blown ethical, or as I would like to call it, a deontological or duty egoist, if you will.
Yeah. Fair enough. Let's see,
Yeah.
Okay, Cain of Berna. This is the last item I gotta get. I should have gotten this a long time ago. Since I don't have it, I should have already gotten it way back when I had the chance. After I got the magic cane. Death Mountain Cave, Western Dark World, Western Death Mountain in the Dark World, being south of Ganon's Tower. Yep, I was right. That, not this Death Mountain, but the actual Death Mountain counterpart in the Dark World. That's an interesting story. Things continuing on about the crypto thing, but I'm doing. These are just. And once you have these type of things done, and these particular distribution issues where people in an honor system can join up, and if they get caught funding it by the people, like fucking banking guys, you can actually yank them out and erase them, or some shit like that,
Yeah,
or work with local law enforcement to involve them on it, and allow private security and local law enforcement to do this kind of shit. You know, localist shit is what I'm getting at here. And counter-economic co-funding of stuff like this can be done to work. It's just gonna happen. We got to look at how many approaches.
I see some practical problems with the agorism.
But I think these crypto problems, and I'm giving ideas out. And I'm also applying ideas from Techno's banking ideas to these, and I got some other ideas such as. Let's see, where are my notes? There we go. To get a good money, you have to get the core 5 functions out of money to be able to get those. And I'm going to just cite the denationalization of money to cite for the 5 functions of money. And I'm going to quote. I'll paraphrase actually.
Hayek.
Yep. As much people, I know some guys who don't.
Money. This might be a bit controversial, but I sort of do consider myself an anarchist, but personally, I'm more of when it comes to Austrianism, I'm more in the Hayekian stripe than the Misesian stripe, if you will. Personally.
Here we go.
Controversy.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, to me, I'm technically my economic analysis. I'm assessing Hayekian technically.
But you can be both.
Technically, yeah, you can. That's what I am. Well, technically, I'm Rothbard. I would be Hoppian, Rothbardian, Hayekian technically, but yeah, you can be that.
Yeah,
and my first one of my first two introductions to economics one of them was a Hayekian by the name of Walter Williams. Anyway, the 5 functions of money I was going to talk about. I think this is the cave. Yep. Okay. Cool.
Wait, wasn't Walter Williams a Chicagoite?
No. Thomas Sowell's the Chicagoite.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Thomas. Yeah, I'm thinking of
Walter E. Williams was a Hayekian. He went to George Mason University and found Hayek and Mises there, and they inspired him, and so on and so forth. And then he learned at the Chicago School after that. But he's a Hayekian technically. He's what Hayek should have been, I would say, instead of being a proto-social democrat. Yeah. Rothbard called that shit. So did Hopper. Yikes! Ow! Fuck! I'm walking on spikes! Whoa! I'm walking on fucking spikes! Ow! Wow! This shit don't feel good! Fucking yikes. What's up?
I'm not really too big on labels. Like, for the longest time, I considered myself a Hoppian, although recently I've ditched that label and I thought, like, no, I'm not going to name my ideology after someone else. I'm going to do or be my own thing, which is where my interest in philosophy came from. If you read the tier list I sent you the philosophers, S tier I have ranked Aristotle and Immanuel Kant. And although I take more after Kant than I do, I take more after Kant than I do take after Aristotle. Although there are things that I think Aristotle was right on that Kant wasn't. For instance, when Kant is trying to tell me about that fucking transcendental idealism that put in front of me isn't real, I pretty much I look at Kant straight in the eye and I tell him, "You're full of horse shit." I prefer the Aristotelian view that no, this world in front of us is real and it's the only world out there, if you will. Phenomenal, numinal world, my ass.
But anyway, what I was getting at, like, about the further into the crypto challenges and infrastructure challenges related to that, that I'm going to. The 5 functions of money is to store some degree of value. That's the first function. Second, a medium of excuse me. Motherfucker! I yawn and I fuck up and jump back down. Fuck. Let's try that again. To store some degree of value. 2, a medium of exchange. 3, for holding reserves for future needs. 4, to be used in contracts as a standard for deferred payment. Oh, and that basically means, deferred payment. Used to buy anything you want. Anything and everything you want with it. Okay, cool. As the preferred. You can have multiples of those, and you'd not have a mainstream, but still have this function. And you'd have multiple ways of things that would be preferred. You motherfucker, you. Anyway, 4, to be used in okay, I already said that. In contracts, deferred payments, not that. 5, a reliable. Excuse me. I repeat, reliable unit for account in order to make a realistic recording and calculating of trades. Guess what? You got to be able to do that for everything. You can't just be like set up a certain amount of goods and and still be able to be tracked by the FedEx. It's just for doing that. So
yeah.
So, but yeah, crypto. This is fixable. It's those things I pointed out earlier, and there's other challenges too. But I think they can be solved. This would be a baseline, like, again, I wanted crypto to be a crypto money and a means to subvert tyranny. But these are constructive criticisms of the crypto. And they need to be solved to be competent, widespread, because it can subvert big finance once these particular challenges are figured out. There's no such thing as an untrackable money right now. The steps you have to take to make yourself untrackable, and using any crypto is a pain in the ass. You have to basically give up convenience to stay below the poverty line. To remove that and edit that, but the poverty line just to do it unless you have local FDIC certified banks, mutual credit unions, building societies, and so on and so forth, able to stand up and help in these challenges. Making multiple competing currencies backed by assets, the banking stuff Tech talked about. make these things as a backdoor service, so we can ship goods in a back and forth through them, and so on and so forth. And he used anonymous wallets and stuff to work through them, and shit like that. That would actually make them, and then you also have a fucking commodity standard, system to back it, to like they call ANCAP, commodity system. It doesn't. It needs a counter standard to it, but sure. But this would be more useful. Say if you go to asteroid mining, space studying, and sea studying at the same time, and you have this commodity type money system, and you have a standard to go against, such as a rare gem standard or something. Or if you just shifted to bearer share monies and stuff over time, and did that instead of what we do now. Or all these kind of monies and asset monies and all kind of stuff. And these would be ways to back the cryptos up, make them a lot more stable, and make shit deflate properly, and so on and so forth. But my deflation's bad, said every monetarist and Keynes cuck.
I never understood the idea of why exactly is deflation bad. I never understood that.
Yeah, they're full of shit. That's why you didn't understand it, because they're full of shit. That's why. Like, they're literally full of themselves. And another thing I wanted to go into is, I'm just going to be blunt here. We are kind of in the middle of a boog. B-O-O-G.
Boogaloo?
Yeah, kind of in one.
How so?
Let me just read off what a friend of ours, Captain's Pig, said to me. I'll read this off as well. Let me scroll up. The first wave was propaganda on all sides to put out favorable information of their cultural worldview, or in a lot of cases lack thereof. In most cases ignoring areas the areas they fall short at. The second phase was the smear stage, putting out propaganda against the factions that they disagree with the most. In this stage, sub-factions get into counter-propaganda and smear campaigns against each other and cannibalize, as well as the original perceived enemy factions. This caused more factions to arise, events that are easily used to outline as Bluism, for instance, ANCAP Civil War on Esso and Filthy Vite versus Dapperton, and then Esso Filthy and everybody else versus the Hoppians and such. Doesn't this face Chaos Agent? There's examples of this. You have this at IRL politics right now. And you have an information battle. Like, it's obvious enough signal that I forgot which Salty Cracker video he did. Salty Cracker did a stream, and he said World War, and it had World War III question mark on it. I'm like, I think he's catching on. Cracker's catching on. The previous state of the boog, BOOG was a informational thing on all sides. Anyway, in this phase, Chaos Agents. Sorry, what?
I was just saying that I would like to read this, so I was going to ask you if you would like to post that in our DMs, because I'd like to read it.
Okay, also, in this phase, Chaos Agents that either benefit from the fall of the faction's exploit, infiltrate and create chaos from within. We forgot to mention Pedogate. No, we've had some of our own list of Chaos Agents in different discussions, including the ones he listed. And he said, overall, stage 2, real-world manifestation, activists to exploit real-world events to take real-world action. Samples of this, such as like Occupy Wall Street, Agris Ventures, sit-ins, mass protests that are peaceful. And coordinated, I said, where you're saying this stuff, the alternate, so I started listing alternative infrastructures and localism that's becoming on the rise. He said coordinated, peacefully, but malicious. GME short squeeze, AMC short squeeze, all the Wall Street bets campaigns, and I said, oh yeah, the game stunks, like we said. Yeah, and the phase 3, the insurgent stage, using the same justification for the manifestation stage. More violent praxis is used: fire, bombing, smashing, looting, shooting, and rioting. This stage is full of danger as there's a fork in the road. 1, the population begs for safety, gives up their freedoms to the power structure, which develops an authoritarian praxis. Or scenario 2, people reorganize and reorganize into safe pockets, creating pocket societies. There's also an optional phase that occurs between manifestation and insurgent stages. This is an infiltration stage where ideologues install themselves in state entities. This helps those this both helps those in the insurgent stage, but also weakens the agencies and entities they integrate with, as religious adherence to an ideology is an exploitatable pattern. Enemy factions can use both, gaining sympathy for their side, as well as gaining entry into the system, agency, or entity. And we the re-cementing stage, that's before the factions that break off of the factions reject outside information or discount it. This can take forms such as people assuming people countering or questioning your information as a conspiracy against the movement, thought leader. This stage, the echo chamber's effect becomes more intense. Loyalty is valued over common sense, depending on the objectives of the factions. The heightened paranoia can make fuckers dangerous. This plays into the insurgent stage, yada yada yada.
So TLDR, meme until you get what you want.
Huh?
I said TLDR, meme until you have what you want.
To get into what people are thinking of it, it's probably going to take a decade or two to roll out, but it's going to build up to a popping point. I told him thanks. His stuff aligns up with a lot of some other people on the insides, and have been out there doing domestic activism and stuff, and told me. And I'm like, for fuck's sakes. So before it becomes out full blown kind of shit, yeah. Oh fuck! I forgot about this. Hold on.
I have to ask a question about this. Back then there was that portal thing, and I want to ask, was that a time stopper thing, a time freezer thing?
What?
Or did that just get rid of the mobs, the enemies there? That.
Are you talking about that blue tile?
Yes.
I was going in and out of the light and dark world. That's a portal to the dark world. I'll show you.
Oh.
See, what happened is Ganon, from the Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf Dragomire of the Gerudo, the hatred and soul of Demise reincarnated. If you read the canon literature and the game Skyward Sword, that's what he is. Let's see, here you go. It's a portal to Dark World. But anyway, Ganon took the Triforce, and this is the alternate universe from basically the Hero of Time reincarnation of Link fucking died. Instead of save the world and created two timelines. Leading to Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Four Swords Adventures in one timeline, according to, Wind Waker all the way to Spirit Tracks and the adult timeline in that one. But this universe here has the most motherfucking has the absolute most games in it in its timeline. The Decline universe, it's called. But it's its own universe, essentially, because it's when the Hero of Time died. And the timeline's pretty linear. Somewhat, I guess you could say linear. This here's the Super Bomb. basically, I'll show you how this works in a minute. The super bomb is basically is used for the pyramid. Now, a lot of people might have played this already. Those who haven't, I'm not going to spoil it. You haven't, but you can watch. You'll be able to see it when you see the podcast, when you see who Aghanim really is. To put it bluntly, I'm not. Well, I'm all right. It's already, I've already said it. It's basically Aghanim is basically Ganon. The dungeon that comes up after this one is basically
basically Ganon.
Well, he turns into Ganon. He turns into Ganon and flies to the pyramid, and then smashes through the top of it where you spawn at the start of the Dark World quest line. The other fucking dungeon.
Do you have the Legends of Zelda: Faces of Evil by any chance?
Say what?
Do you have Legends of Zelda: Faces of Evil by any chance?
Fuck no, I'm so glad I don't.
Was the game bad or anything?
Faces of Evil for the CDI, right?
I guess.
Dude.
I'm just asking because that game is pretty much a meme.
Yeah, you know why it's a meme? Because the Angry Video Game Nerd fucking reviewed it because he had a copy. I forgot what games, how much those three, Face of Evil, Wand of Gamelon, and the fucking Adventure, Zelda's Adventure, whatever the fuck it was, cost. Those were fucking enormous, and they were just horrible. They looked horrible. They sounded it. They just looked trash. Like, unironically looked fucking trash. So anyways, here we go. What we're going to do here is we're going to plant, I believe this is how you do it. Here you go. 2, 1. Boom, bitch! Now here. Throw my... I'm gonna get the, but Ganon held the entire Triforce. And watch this shit. Now look at this motherfucker.
Looks like Zizek's mom.
Oh, please say that one more time. I gotta hear it one more.
From me?
Yes, what? One more time.
I said it looked like Zizek's mom. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes! And Peterson presupposed too much and got his ass handed to him by the commie cunt. Oy vey. Oh, that's precious. That's great.
You know, that sounds like pure ideology.
Oh, man. The golden sword. The golden sword actually has, like, 2 fuck you forms to it, essentially. How the fuck? When I get back there. I don't think I do. Oh, she also gives you a green potion if you throw an empty bottle in there.
Oh?
Apparently.
Interesting.
What the fuck? Oh no! Oh god! Oh!
What just happened?
Oh, I want to cry. I want to cringe to tears. Oh! Oh! Oh, God! I'll send it. I'm gonna read it out to everybody when I send it. Son of a bitch! Listen to this shit, folks. Speedrunning Undertale helped me understand my gender better. God. It's a Polygon post. Transitioning and speedrunning both require breaking the rules. I wondered if that's actually a shit. Oh, I don't know. I wonder if this is actually a shit post. I'm gonna ask him. My boy Big Thunk, who I encountered over like a decade or so ago on TF2, back in my TF2 days. Encountered him again.
During this, you're playing TF2 during this podcast?
No. I said back in the day, like over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No, I encountered him again when I was in on Discord through Civi 11 server. Boy, that was a shit show and a half. He didn't take being memed on too well. Yeah, I was just joked at him a little bit. Somebody, a real good fan, was really cool. It seemed innocent, harmless. Like, asked if he could DM some questions. It's like I tagged Civi and said, "Hey, just Bill Cosby, just unblock him long enough. Just unblock him long enough, or allow him to DM you just long enough to let those questions be asked. Just Bill Cosby into his DMs." Come on, Ted. You don't have to lie, Ted. And then I got ultra randied. I said, "Oh shit, you're assholes, snowflakes." I thought they were just being assholes at that point, so I was just fucking memeing on them. But, cause, I mean, fuck's sakes, I meme on myself. Grow a fucking pair. Anyway, got tired of being ultra randy, to being shot at with the worst insults I could ever fucking see in my life. Huh?
That guy's a Randian.
No, ultra randied. It's like a rank where they put you in a shit room where everybody spams that tags at you and shit.
Oh god, those things. Oh, god.
Yeah, so it's one of those type of ranks he had called ultra randy. Well, I fucking touched his willy the wrong. Apparently, I touched his and his admin staffer's willies the wrong way when I joked on him like that. And that's what happened. Yeah. And that was, I thought it was pathetic, but I eventually had enough fucking hanging in there, getting nothing done, so I left. And then I found out some of his mods and stuff were fucking cringe, and the past mods did some shit they couldn't associate with them. Like, I like Civi. I like the hell out of Civi. It's just, oof. Snowflake! Anyway. But yeah, I'm not shit talking, I'm just saying that's my experience in the server. But that's how I met Big Thunk again, and he sent me that. I thought it was, I just DM'd him. I'll see what he says when he answers back. But yeah, I'm about to kill the fuck out of Trinex, the three-headed turtle, essentially. I fucked up. Never mind. I'm not gonna try to whistle that again. Yeah, I can do that version. Fuck! Fuck.
What else do you want to talk about?
Oh, god damn it! Sorry. Fuck! Anyway, let me try to go in there and get the old man to cast some magic on me. That's not an innuendo, folks. Grow fuck up. You're not 12 like me. Let's see. I already went over. Oh, so the BOOG tips to look for in my notes on this particular file. I'm gonna turn this into a video essentially to go further into this. To go further into this.
We talked about this a little bit, and I sort of agree with it for different reasons. I don't really understand your reasons, but sort of what do you see as the problem with agorism? Like, I see some problems with it, but...
It's mostly a technical problem.
Some problems
It's just technical problems on the cryptocurrency side of things, and the lack of alternative infrastructure that can, you know, both hide the law-abiding civilians, you know, the ones that don't actually conduct actual crime, and while protect them simultaneously from actual fucking criminal bastards, you know, that kind of thing. So it's an infrastructural, non-detectory type of thing. Another issue. Oh fuck. You saw that?
I guess.
Yeah. I teleported into a wall. I'm like, fuck!
And then it teleported again. Wait, why did it teleport again?
I was inside a wall, so it teleported me back into Dark World immediately because I couldn't move. I was in a fucking wall. I was in the fucking rock. It does that to you when you're stuck. Magic Mirror is quite helpful in that department.
The problem with I see with agorism is sort of like if you've seen Jim Jesus's video on
well, yeah, he's not
agorist maximalism and collapsitarianism, I agree with everything he said. That I don't think that agorism and collapsitarianism are good strategies.
Oh, I agree. I fully agree with that. What I was gonna say was the cryptocurrency side of things and the you know, the infrastructural things I was going over, right? That I was talking about, like with crypto and the stuff around it, you know, the support and all that good shit. That can be fixed, but you're still gonna. But you can only do it at a certain stages. You can only do it to a certain extent. You know, you can only do it. You can only do it so far with it. You can only use it to quietly co-fund localist political movements with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. One of the problems I see with Concanite, agorism, crypto-anarchism is that it doesn't actually do anything about the state. I know they want to tell me that, oh, we're going to defund the state so it can't run itself, blah, 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 but the problem with that I see is that if you try to change the culture without a proportional or simultaneous change in the political structure, I don't think you can get shit done. I think that political structures and ideology of populists go hand in hand, if you will.
Here I go, folks!
If you're trying to change culture without changing the political structure, I think that's a no-go. I think that's going to fail completely. Conversely, I think that a lot of people talking about, oh, let's just vote for the LP until it works. I see problems with that also. I think that
federal politics be damned.
Yeah, exactly.
They're cucked. They're fucking cucked. In realism, so you're gonna have to go away from that and cascade outward. Here we go, folks. The start of the Turtle Rock.
I think I might call it a night pretty soon, but basically, I think what we ought to do is, have a strategy that takes into account both politics and culture. Something like I have advocated this in the past, that we sort of take the Yuri Bezmenov route. I guess I could say, instead of cultural Marxism, we have cultural libertarianism, you know?
Well, the challenge of that, you're going to have to look at. First off, you're going to have to consider. You're going to have to repackage it as.
Yeah.
You're going to have to repackage it. You're going to have to repackage it in a way that, as a form of long-term security and power, and a way to gain short-term security and power in certain amounts that build up to the long-term power and security, and approach it in a way that it can actually carry that promise out. That's what I'm saying. And then also factor in reverse engineering the Fabian socialist tactics that led to our situation in the first place. All of our opposition does it. Our Zionists, the fucking left, the fucking corporate whores, the big oilers, the fucking neocons, the like all the central banker, the ones that are simping for central banks, all of them, peddle this kind of shit. They all peddle it. They all do it.
Fabian, who's Freud?
Fabian Soycialist. I said Soycialist with instead of with an emphasis on the soy bit.
Feuerbach?
Huh?
Fabian. I remember hearing about. You said Fabian, and
No. I said Fabian Soycialist.
Right. What does Fabian mean?
Fabians are the Fabian Society, and they have something called the Theory of Permeation. I've linked this before on my channel, and it's about how Don the Pleb talked about this shit, basically. Basically, it went into how the Fabians basically pushed for political subversion, and how they did this, and how they used political gains to influence their fucking what's it called?
Yeah.
To influence their to use that political gains to influence culture after that.
Apparently, I heard that. Well, I think it's a good thing, but basically, I've heard that apparently my strategy might be a little bit too late to try to talk about and build upon, because apparently there's a big uproar against cultural Marxism and whatnot, that parents are realizing, oh shit, the kids are being taught this shit, and then rising up against the schools, if you will.
Well, this needs to be fed into by the libertarians and by the paleo-libs. I would prefer the paleo-libs myself more than the beltway libertarians. I'm going to bluntly say that right fucking now.
What is a beltway?
Mainstream. Fucking mainstream, and the fucking the agorists, essentially, and those who are okay with cultural leftist shit.
Are those like the only two?
There's more. They all divide into different factions, like say the left of the lefty that call themselves libertarian. The absolute farthest to that would be like
Peter Kropotkin.
Oh no, I'm talking about living right now. He was genuinely libertarian, like he's a so close yet so far thing.
Noam Chomsky.
Gabby, Jeremiah Harding. He actually has libertarian values. I just don't think his leftisms. I think his leftism could be sorted out to be with libertarianism. But then again, I think the libertarian left, I think they tend to be oxymoronic because of the certain leftist traits that are in. Huh?
And then after Harding and Chomsky, who's to the right of them, and then so on.
I think they're examples of what I'm talking about. I don't think they're the farthest. Because at least Harding's willing to work with people he disagrees with. Like, technically you and I are the farthest right wing out of everybody around, because like you're not a Hoppian and you don't identify as a Hoppian anymore, but you appreciate the lessons he gave. I am a Hoppian for the most part. Hoppian anarchist at my most extreme, Hoppian panarchist at my at my weakest.
The one thing I disagree with Hoppianism is the name. Like, personally, I don't sort of enjoy naming my ideology after another person. I'm like, no, I want to go off and do my own thing and make what I believe my own personal thing. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, it's called Hoppianism because it's adherence to Hoppe, strong adherence to it, if not outright. Yeah. But I agree with what he says. But there are a couple of criticisms I do personally have on some of his work, but that's another story. I don't have much. I do have a few areas, but I do have a few areas of criticism, but not too much, terribly. But yeah. Damn, it's a pretty good run.
Anyway,
But anyways, what I was going to give you guys before we cut it off, I was going to give you some suggestions. From this timestamp, 26 minutes from this timestamp, I linked this video URL to the 26-minute mark of Free Man Beyond the Wall with Peter Quinones and Matt Erickson explains what we need to do, and it goes into line with what I said earlier about power and all that. It also goes into line with what Don Bluth and I have been telling you about theory of permeation. You'll see, and I linked that too. I linked some other articles from Hoppian.org and whatnot. I'm going to link archives on them because the Hoppian.org website's been kind of iffy lately, acting up and stuff.
The Hoppian.org has been acting up because apparently the people on Hoppian.org were talking about this on Twitter. They basically said that the website is being updated, that they're basically they have it down and sort of working on the technical stuff on it, programming, well,
that's good to know. When it comes back up, they can click on the actual link when it comes back up, but I'll have archives along with it as well. Some signals to look for. When people grow and raise their own food like no tomorrow due to the white market becoming a complete pseudo-market, and it skyrockets in prices of everything due to hyperinflation. 2, when people start escalating in violence more and more than they have. When factions start dividing even further. When the federal government starts screeching in its ability to enforce fake stability. These are the signs when they full out what everybody else thinks is when it's near. Those are your most obvious signs when it'll roll down the line. That with the BOOG that everybody thinks is going to happen. Those are the signs to look for. But I say we're in the middle of the beginnings of it. It'll be a decade or two before it rolls out full blown.
While you're linking the stuff or getting the links, could you also plug my blog, operationunorthodox.blogspot.com, and also my Twitter. I've got about 300 so followers. I could use some more.
Yep. And also, you have anything else for them to check out of yours?
No, not really.
Okay, well, I will link that as well. I want you guys to check this guy out. Ortho, did you say?
Osmo. O-S-M-O.
Osmo, got it. I'm sorry. Osmo. Please check out Osmo's content as well. But yeah, that's what I have to say about all the. It's the agri stuff is mostly the crypto stuff can be the problems with it are fixable. It can be backed with in a variety of different ways. I will link some of those examples, and I will also link the hobby.org articles talking about the crypto, both good and the bad. I'll also cite the references, as some of the articles already do, but I'll also cite some other stuff on top of that. Excuse me, I'm sorry about the yawning, but yeah, I wanted you to check all these out and make your own discerning yourself for yourselves. Make your own judgment off of what I have to show you. And I will link all the stuff about Konkin. I will also link about Birch and Hoppa as well. To be even-handed, you can come to your own conclusion. Come to your own conclusions.
Yeah.
And I honestly think all these different anarchy flavors are just preferences. But I am going to make but I have a video script. It's a bit behind, but it's called Libertarian Socialism's Challenges, and I'm gonna update it again, so I can actually go into some more in-depth stuff and talk about how a lot of this is preferences, and I'm gonna make a big fundamental description. I'm gonna have to go into a whole fucking rant about the word capitalism and how things have gone since then. I got it done. I just have to film it after I get through my other videos.
Yeah, a lot of people on the libertarian sphere are complaining about, capitalism meant that 200 years ago, and apparently they've never heard of such a thing as the dictionary updating every once in a while.
Well, not only that,
but
not only that. Well, technically, I'm going to go into this in that script as well. The word capitalism originally meant in 1850 when Louis Blanc first invented it, the private means to produce. There's nothing unlibertarian in ownership and production. Private ownership of the means of production.
Exactly.
That's all it meant. There's nothing anti-libertarian about that until he flip-flopped it and said, a year later in my success of a few at the expense of the many rhetoric shit. So he flip-flopped on his meaning a year later, but he's a bootleg politician and a socialist. What do you expect? Look at most of the fucking leftism advocates. They either get their ideologies that go off, if you trace their policies, the origins of their policies, like Proudhon's bullshit. It has origins in slavery labor trinkets. Like, I'm not kidding. There's fucking documents of the fucking old slave plantations I live near. I could go to, like an hour drive. They used to do the same shit, where they would say, this is how much you work for, this is what we'll give you. And they only were acceptable to the stores that the slave owners owned. So the labor voucher is basically very similar to that, but just doing it to everybody, and you're not enslaving them. But you see my point, and labor is too subjective psychologically from person to person, so unless you make this in a small, contained little fucking commune, and you're allowed to adapt it into other various currency forms into legit currencies, it's not gonna fucking hold. I'm not sorry to say it's full of shit. You could pull a Josiah Warren times Kevin Carson and then do what I'm saying to it on top of that. It would hold up, but it would require an external input to keep it going.
And plus, having looked into philosophy myself, having devised a system myself, but not really, I would sort of say that, objectively speaking, I don't view left anarchism as moral, but that's kind of irrelevant. They can go off and do whatever the fuck they want as long as they're not hurting anything. But
And that's
do
another
know
one.
that I
If you're
view your ideology as inherently immoral.
well, this is how I see it. If you're not against someone owning their own means of production, okay. Test number 2: are you against owning someone, hiring someone to work for them, and you give them a certain amount of your shares? If they say no, that's all you need. They're not anti-capitalist. Well, there's nothing anti-libertarian about that in the first place. You go look back at all the philosophical underpinnings, going all the way back to Lao Tzu and Zhuang Zhu, for fuck's sakes. There was nothing against private property, what we call, retroactively speaking, capitalist, about that. You go look back at the fucking natural law doctrines, whether the Thomistic interpretation or other interpretations of it from other church denominations. There's nothing anti-capitalist, quote unquote, about that. They're implied there. None of it. That's a later development. I mean, you can go all the way back. Like, if you want to go look at it, I think Kierkegaard, the Kierkegaardist, Kierkegaard, right? The guy, the existentialist?
Yeah.
Isn't that how you say it, Kierkegaard?
Kierkegaard. I cannot do the accent. Kierkegaard is how you pronounce it.
Say what?
Soren Kierkegaard.
Kierkegaard, right?
Yes.
Kierkegaard, the Kierkegaardist, on hopping.org also basically made a whole article that basically condensed everything I thought of after I read Plato all the way down into a more simplified article, and he basically read what I had to say about it. He basically wrote it out. I'm like, you're top dog, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know Kierkegaardist on Twitter. Yeah, I know a lot of the hopping.org staff on Twitter.
I loved what he had to say about it, because I had the same, basically, from my understanding and my reading into it, I had the same fucking thing. Same effect. After, and I didn't even, and I'm like, so a lot of people interpret him like he's some proto-commie. He wasn't.
Actually, when I read, or at least looked into Plato, I interpreted him as a proto-fascist, if you will.
Well, that's if you read the fucking piece on Utopia, but really, if you go into a lot of the other stuff,
Utopia?
huh?
Thomas More's Utopia?
No, Plato wrote some stuff on utopianism as well, actually. And
Could just be my autism, but basically when I read that, even now I'm trying to learn how to do that, which is hard considering I actually have an autism diagnosis, but basically I'm trying to read between the lines when I read shit, because a lot of fucking philosophers, and I really fucking hate this, and instead of reading their actual work, I resorted to reading summaries and other people's interpretations of their work instead of reading their actual work, because a lot of philosophers are extremely poetic when they're talking about things, like, and it's really painful to hear when I'm reading that, like, fucking, it's hard to understand what they're trying to say when they're being poetic. It's like, the meaning, either I read it, literally, which, any, Bible study will tell you that, don't fucking read shit literally,
there's metaphors within metaphors throughout the damn thing. For fuck's sakes. That's a basic understanding.
Yeah, I hate metaphors. They're very difficult to understand. And I prefer things to be a lot more literal. My first introduction to philosophy was Ayn Rand, and I loved her because she was not metaphoric. She was very literal. She was very precise and clear with what she was talking about.
Oh
And
yeah, I
loved
appreciate that about her too. I disagree with a lot of her implications, a lot of her political and contradictory nonsense, but, and I'm also going to correct everybody who claimed this. Those of you who keep saying Ayn Rand's libertarian, you better back that up with something, because she hated libertarians ever since Rothbard said, no, go fuck yourself, I'm not leaving my wife to join you. Get the fuck out with your sex cult cuck shit. Fuck off, bitch.
Yeah,
I'm not
apparently
ditching.
Ayn
I'm
Rand had
not
a
ditching
sex
my
cult.
wife, my Christian wife, who's also an actual woman. I'm not leaving that. She loves me. She supports my efforts. I support her. Go fuck yourself. And that's what happened.
And apparently, Ayn Rand. Apparently, the relationship between Rand and Rothbard was already kind of shaky, considering that Rothbard was an agnostic as opposed to an atheist.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I don't know, my intellectual journey began back when I was in middle school. Cringe, but I was into the new atheism of Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins and
Yeah, it was
that shit.
Daniel
And
Dennett, Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, and Christopher Hitchens. They were the four
yeah,
horsemen of new atheism, basically.
while I still respect them to a decent extent, I have rejected a lot of what I formerly believed in my new atheist upbringing.
Yeah, yeah, dude. First off, Sam Harris, he on one hand he acts like he pretty much acts like an SJW, which by the way, Naked Ape called that, and a lot of the motherfuckers. He didn't say it to him specifically, but the so-called skeptic with a K at the end of it, like a fucking tick on your fucking pecker hole, like a tick biting on your dick hole. Ugh, that would hurt.
Yeah, I imagine it
But
would hurt.
God, the dick jokes tonight. I'm all going off.
Yeah.
But essentially, that it's cringe. Like,
Yeah.
Naked Ape called that shit so fucking hard. Called it. But the other thing, he does, God, the Zionism shit leanings he has irk me a bit.
Wait, wasn't Hitchens the Zionist?
No, actually, he was a Trotskyist and he was almost a Keynesian-leaning neocon, somewhere between a Keynesian and a neocon by the time he died. He literally is what a neocon is, minus the Keynes element. By the time he died, like you're witnessing the mental transformation of a fuck from a Trotsky commie to a neocon. His whole lifespan was that.
Yeah.
Crazily enough, and people still are oblivious. Oh, I didn't know this. Yeah, you're listening to psyops, you dumb fuck. Although I am going to defend Naked Ape on this one. They called the Young Turds and Jamie Dore out for their Islamic apologetics and shit. I disagree with that too, just as much. Or when fucking Jimmy Dore has a China simp on there. Oh, there's no homeless in the Ching Chong Nazi Party. Yeah, when they're shipping the homeless off to fucking internment camps they got over there, or fucking shipping them off and get knocked in the head in happy vans. Of course there's no homeless, quote unquote. Sure, suck a fat one. Fucking propagandist. There's so much hypocrisy on all sides, it's ridiculous. But we're lolberts. We're pedos.
Wait, is that Naked Ape's argument?
Say what?
Is that Naked Ape's argument that we're pedos?
No, that's literally fucking tradcons and shit that I just love, that I borrow from so heavily where I lean now, but I could punch those that did that peddle that shit in the face so hard. Especially the Catholic tradcons. I'm like, bitch.
So,
When the
let me get this
like the
straight.
tradcon Catholic, when she still had her Twitter, Lottie Jupri, when she was listing libertarian groomers, and I'm like, nigga, really? Like, I had a really nigga moment.
So, let me get this straight. Sam Harris is a Zionist.
He simps for the state of Israel a little bit from time to time. He's done it before. Although he didn't really do the crypto-racialist Maju IQ like the whole fucking copium page that Jordan Peterson wrote.
Wait, what did Peterson write?
I'm gonna do a tilde of that page. Like, when people mention the fucking the 200 years together thing and mentioned about issues with the JQ and stuff, instead of tackling, he tried to avoid it. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of the JQ. I think there's more to it than the JQ. There's a lot more to it. The JQ is making it a racialist question, actually, instead of what it should be.
Um,
But what I was
Personally,
saying
I
is,
think it has more to do with culture than it has to do with race.
it's got to do with a lot of cultural implications, the shit that's in the religion, certain elements anyway, shit to do with the fucking, the mindset, certain mindsets. It's to do with, let's not be
Yes.
racist and generalize the general public with certain minority factions that do these cultural implications, whether religiously or secularly, regardless. It's all kind of, there's actual, you want to tackle the actual fucking things, but you also don't want to fucking, you don't want to tackle Jews as a people, okay? It's not a smart thing to do, and it's also very disingenuous.
Yeah, I
If
got
you did that, you would
racial.
actually be right to be called an anti-Semite for doing that.
Yeah. Odd thing is that did you know that a lot of people seem to think that Friedrich Nietzsche was an anti-Semite when in actuality he was the precise opposite. Like even in Beyond Good and Evil, there's a part of it where he's talking about like how how a lot of the Jews, a lot of their culture and whatnot, sort of resembles how the Jews are resilient. If you've seen the history of of Jews in Nazi Germany, the like even though there was a lot of laws against them in that stuff, they still sort of like soldiered on, and they were still in some minuscule way were prospering, if you will. He
Well, see, that's cherry picking and then lying about Nietzsche for fuck's sakes. No shit. But what I was saying was, what I was saying about Jordan Peterson, his whole article on about the JQ was all about the whole thing. I found the link to it and I sent it to some people. Like, this whole fucking thing, and they read through it. I'm like, wow. I said he's doing a crypto racialist argument here, technically, to defend it. I'm like, dude, no. If you actually want to respond to it, fucking respond to it. There's fucking Jews that will chew you out for this. Like, really. But, whatever. I know, what is your opinion on, like, racialist topics and stuff, like, and racism and shit? I just want to hear your opinion, your honest one.
um being a former Randian, I sort of take take the most logical position I can think of is that racism is the most crudest and laziest form of collectivism. It's very disgusting, in my opinion.
I agree with this, but I also say this as well. It's fucking hilarious. Because of that, and the absurdities and the atrocities done on behalf of those absurdities, including, in spite of mentioning Zionism shit, including Jewish people. I'm not a Holocaust denier.
Yeah, I have a friend
I don't
who
mind. I
gets
wouldn't
in.
care if a girl beaked my ass cave. I wouldn't care. Yeah, I fucking went there. So be it.
Yeah, I have a friend on here on Discord who gets in constant arguments with Holocaust deniers. He's literally bringing up like historical documents and like fucking physics and chemistry behind fucking wooden doors. Like these people are fucking going there. Oh god.
Now my favorites are the flat Earth retards. They're my favorite ones. You could tell them to eat a. You could tell them that a piece of rotten, moldy cat shit. You could wrap it up in a candy wrap. Tell them it's a piece of candy, and they'd fucking eat it. That's how stupid they are. That's
Yeah.
what happened when the CIA made a fucking inside joke and it got out, and they found and through that and accidentally made themselves made a psyop accidentally. That's what that is.
Wait, that actually happened with the CIA.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what happened. It was like a joke or something that got out. I could be wrong, but that's what I was informed. Now, I would believe it was a way for the CIA to see how many fucktards are out there, like how stupid motherfuckers are. I would not put it past them. The other and the NSA, because of all the shit they do, I would not put it past them. I honestly would say that.
Um, is the podcast over? Is OBS still recording?
We're recording. I was going to cut it off, but we got a little too deep in convo, and I'm not playing the game. It's just
Yeah.
my face on the camera at the moment, the foreground instead of the game. But I think
You can include this last little bit we were talking. This last little bit of convo, or are you gonna cut it?
I don't know if I can cut it really.
Yeah. Plus, I think it would be good for the audience to hear this sort of, I guess.
I mean, I don't know how to cut it without fucking shit off and blotting out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call this a night.
Hey, instead, would you want to go over this shit again and try it again tomorrow night? Maybe?
You mean doing the podcast again?
Yeah. If you don't want this stuff on it.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was just asking, like, since the podcast is about gaming, going over going past the bit with the gaming is kind of guess counterintuitive, if you will.
Yeah, it is. It's a little break in the mold a little bit, but dude,
Yeah.
I've had to pause the gameplay and shit on a lot of issues.
Yeah, other than that, I have absolutely no problem with this stuff.
Yeah,
With other
right.
people hearing
That's
this
cool.
stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that because there's so like the look. Do you know what happened? You remember when Ben Shapiro was trying to call Ron Paul an anti-Semite because he called out the neocons that back in '84 and
Yeah.
called out the problems of the Zionist movements, and he
Oh, God.
was against it, and he tried
Yeah.
and he tried to say, well, he also said, well, the guy, because he apparently had a actual racist asshole on a fucking on a what's it called, on one of his didn't he run like a newspaper thing back in the day
Yeah.
or some shit, like he pulled a SJW moment and pulled that up on him as quote unquote dirt. and then made a rant about him. I'm like, fucking shut up.
Yeah, I'm anticipating the day I get into a Twitter argument with Ben Shapiro.
Dude, just all you gotta do is record all this shit and then look at the clips where he says bullshit and then another clip, pair it with something that contradicts himself and then argue that and just play it. That's all you gotta do. You win. That's all you gotta do. He's got great points, but he's still a fucking, you know. I mean, I used to be a big fan, but then when I found out the shit I know now, I'm just like, and I'm like, dude, Ron Paul's the least fucking racist person out there. Like, go fuck yourself, you lying cunt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I used to be a fan of Ben Shapiro until I stumbled across Ron Paul, and especially what's his name again? It's the person who I think of Tim Hortons because I'm Canadian. Scott Horton. Yeah, Scott Horton.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I hear the name Scott Horton, my mind immediately jumps to thinking about Tim Hortons restaurant with snow out in the snow outside or something. Like, you can understand the Horton part, and Scott kind of the word Scott kind of makes me think of things like I don't know, cozy indoors, wooden walls, fireplace, 10,000 blankets on the couch, snowing outside.
Yeah.
That kind of aesthetic. So
Yeah.
put that together, you get like Canada the name, or Canada the person. I don't know, but Canada the name, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, this has been already going on for nearly 2 hours, and I cut it off at the fucking 47-minute mark or whatever the fuck. And it's just been my face at the foreground.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with having exceptions happen like this every once in a while. Shit happens, but we had good convo here.
Yeah, nice talking to you, bro.
Like, yeah, likewise. And but please check out his stuff, alright? It'll be linked. I'm also going to link... I'm going to link about certain books and some of my references on certain topics. I'm also going to fucking link Naked Ape's archive, his video archive, which he does have, because he disappeared from the internet. Before he disappeared, though, he made an archive of all of his best stuff, and my favorite was his Destiny is Autism.
Remember his stuff about nigger dick size?
Chill out with the... God. God. You had to say it. You had to fucking say it. You fucker.
Yes, I had to say it.
Yeah. And this is coming from a dude who openly admitted to taking black meat up his ass. And I think he's got a black husband too, if I'm not mistaken, or a black butt buddy.
Oh God, I don't know who's dumber, Naked Apes or Groton T.
I'm talking about Naked Ape.
I know.
But still, holy shit. But he openly admitted on the fucking Destiny stream that he got kicked out of Discords for telling racial jokes. For the shits and giggles of it. You know, so this isn't really that surprising.
Anyway, I'm gonna just log off now.
Okay.
See ya.
I'll see you around. Holy shit, we got some edge takes here tonight. Anyway. you'll see some of my POV on some of the shit I have on the shit as a whole. I'll link all the references and eventually I'm probably going to archive some of those videos before they get named off of the YT shit as we speak. Yeah, I'm going to cut it off where I'm at now. So, thanks for listening. Yeah, it got a little unorthodox, but we had a lot of combos, and I wanted to not go too far to Turtle Rock before or finish it during this podcast. I didn't want to do that. So I will see you guys later. Please check out these particular content pieces, okay? Take care, everybody.